This video is going to introduce a library in R that does more advanced graphics. So R actually has 3 generations of graphics routines. In a previous video, I showed you bar plot and histogram, or hist, which are part of the first generation of the graphics routines. Since then, there have been 2 libraries that have been added on top of this. So when Bill Cleveland wrote his graphing data books, he developed another second generation, which is called lattice or trellis. There's a 3rd generation, which is a lot easier to use for a lot of different things. So you kind of have your choice between using any of the 3 generations. So I'm going to introduce this 3rd generation in this video. So the first thing that you need to do is install it. And so you're going to do this once on your computer. And the way you do this is you type install.packages, and then you have to give it the name ggplot2. GG stands for the grammar of graphics. And if you do this, it's going to go off and install it. And again, you only have to do this once. And what's really happened here is that R has gone off to the CRAN site, which is the R repository, and got the code for ggplot and put it on my computer. Now, the next thing that you have to do every time you want to use this, and in any R session where you want to use it, is you have to tell R to go find that code. Now to do that, you type library. Got to spell it right, L-I-B-R-A-R-Y, and then you say ggplot2. And this just tells R, I want to use all the functions in this library. So again, you only install packages once. You have to use this library command whenever you want to use the plotting commands. All right, there are 2 main plotting commands with ggplot. One is called Quickplot, and that's the only one I'm going to show you today. There's also a ggplot, which allows a lot more flexibility, but it's also a little bit more complicated. So let's do Quickplot. Now remember, we were looking at the defaulting customer data, and the first thing I want to show you is how to do a bar chart. So remember, let's just do a names on default. This is our defaulting customer data. There was a variable out here which was payment type, and in the other videos I showed you how you could make a bar chart of that. If you do str default, this is another good command to know. This just tells you information about each of the variables. So this payment type you're going to see is a factor with 4 levels. All right, now the nice thing about Quickplot, so you can type Quickplot, or if you want to abbreviate it, you just say Qplot. You give it a variable, payment type, and then you just say data equals default. And Quickplot is smart enough to realize that payment type is a categorical variable, therefore it's going to make a bar chart. And here you go. Now you can add arguments to this just as you can with any other a plot command. For example, we could say xlab. Instead of down here we have payment type abbreviated, let's make that a little bit nicer and say payment type. Maybe. And you'll see that that pops in. All right, what about histograms? So in a previous video, I showed us the age variable as a numeric variable. And the thing is, if I just bring up this previous command and I change payment type to age, let's get rid of the payment type label, you're going to see that by default, it's going to make a histogram because it's a numeric variable. So any categorical variable makes a bar plot, any numeric variable makes a histogram. Now you're going to see that R is giving us a little warning message saying that it's by default using 30 bins. So if we count, there should be about 30 bins here. And they suggest playing with either the number of bins or the bin width. So let's just see how that works. If I bring this previous command up again and I say bins equal, say 100, Now this is going to give me 100 bins instead of 30, and notice we get a lot more detail. An alternative way to do the exact same thing is to say the bin width is 1. Okay, so if there's ages 0 through 99, and I say I want 100 bins, that's going to give me 1 year width bins, or I just say give me a bin width of 1. Either of those ways get you to the same plot. Now again, we have the same problems we found in the other videos where we have a lot of suspicious values, where you have 0-year-olds joining and 99-year-olds joining. You can get rid of the bad values using the same method as I discussed in the previous video. So that's a very quick introduction to some very basic commands with Quickplot or Qplot, and we will learn more about this in future videos.